World, Chris Hogan from Beach City, coming to you live from Mount Coolum. So I basically feel like I'm in the middle of the Sunshine Coast, almost on the top of the middle, and there's a few there's a few Mozzies around. So I'll spin it around. You've seen enough of me. Let's do this. So here we are at Mount Coolum, and I wanted to get up here for sunrise, and I had to basically get out of bed at 3:30 a.m. and yeah, it's been a big week for Beach City. We're covering the Sunshine Coast region, as you probably know if you've been following our Facebook page, and we're all, most of us, away from our families and whatnot, and so that means I've used this as an opportunity to I guess embrace the outdoors, and with a wife and 3 kids at home, you know, it sometimes can get a little bit full on in the mornings, and that means that, you know, you don't get a lot of time for yourself, being a parent, and also being a business owner as well. So it's just been fantastic. I've been getting up really early, and today takes the cake though, 3:30 start. And something I think we learn in business is that the longer you're in business, the tougher you get, the more resilience you build, and one thing about exercise is it actually builds resilience as well. So not only physical resilience, but also mental resilience. So I didn't want to get up at 3:30 a.m. and you know, it was dark and I was in a comfy bed, but you know, you push through that, and then you get to the bottom of the mountain and you go, I'm not sure if I want to do this. I'm not sure if I want to climb this mountain. It doesn't look like the postcard from the top. There's a whole lot of hard stuff before I get there. So needless to say, the steps were steep and they were constant. So there wasn't much relief from those battle of the steps. But here we are. Here I am, sitting on the top of Mount Coolum, and apart from a few clouds on the horizon, it's a beautiful day, and I've got blue and pink sky above me, and orange, and all sorts of colours. And finally, some other people have joined me so that they can share in the battle of the mosquitoes. So, look, I'm just going to shut up for a bit, and we can all enjoy me slapping Mozzies, but more importantly, enjoy the sunrise. There's only a few people up here this morning. I think I've seen 6 in total, not including myself. So for a Wednesday morning, I guess that's pretty good. It was about 45 minutes up And yep, damn were my legs burning. It says that it's Mount Coolum's only meant for fit people. And I'd say they're half right in that if you want to get fit, you've got to do stuff like this. You know, you can't wait till you're fit before you start exercising, really. So, I mean, that might seem like a no-brainer, but plenty of people do. They put off exercise or increased level of exercise because they're not fit. And I understand if you've got injuries and whatnot, it makes it a lot harder. But yeah, don't wait till you lose that weight or build that fitness before you start doing some increased level of exercise. So it's been a very interesting week so far on the Sunshine Coast. Met a lot of interesting people and found that you got to go find those people. You know, like, yeah, there's interesting people everywhere. But I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was, got up at 5 a.m. and started the beach walk on Mooloolah Beach, and a lot of people walking along, earbuds in, music on, or audio book or something like that on, and head down, pushing forward, basically in their own world, not even sure they were enjoying their surroundings. And I said to myself, "Oh, listen, I'm gonna actually just say good day to a total stranger next person that looks me in the eye," and that failed. I actually didn't run into anyone as they were walking past that looked me in the eye as they went by. And that's okay. That's not a reflection on the Sunshine Coast. That's just a reflection on people in society and how we're so connected to technology. Anyway, so I walk up to this bloke that's standing there on the shore and in his Mooloolah surf lifesaving singlet and his swimming trunks, and he's standing there in his goggles and he's looking out to sea, and I said, "G'day mate, how you going? And what's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, I've got a frozen shoulder." And so I only swim half the length. And I'm going, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Oh, well, we swim from Mooloolah Surf Club to," he said, "to the Cat," which I think he meant, I'm not sure what he exactly meant by that, a direct translation, but it was basically the other end of the beach. And it's 1 kilometre each way. And he was looking out to sea because his wife was out there swimming. And I'd say this fella was 70 and retired. But two things I noticed from that is that he wasn't letting his injury prevent him from living his life and doing what he loved, and that's what was going for a bay swim. And the other thing was I wouldn't have had that experience if I didn't just walk up to a total stranger and have a chat. And yeah, just I just kept doing that throughout the morning. Ended up speaking to 4 people or so, not many, but it was enough just to make me feel like I was part of the community, even though I'm a visitor. You know, I felt like I was connecting to the community, and yeah, it was cool. It was a cool start to the day. So in case you didn't know, we're Beach City are covering the Sunshine Coast region, contracted by the Queensland government, and we're covering this week in conjunction with Sunshine Coast Startup Week, and also collides with Global Entrepreneur Week. Another special day for the, I guess, Sunshine Coast and possibly Australia, or even the world, is that today is also known as Steve Irwin Day, So Australia Zoo's located at Beerwah here on the Sunshine Coast, and which is sort of more into the hinterland. And yeah, if you haven't been to Australia Zoo, yeah, it's a sort of a must see zoo. Anyway, Steve Irwin obviously made, you know, that zoo famous, you know, crocodile hunter and whatnot. And we always talk about, you know, entrepreneurs and who's an entrepreneur. And damn, you know, I don't think Steve Irwin epitomises the meaning of the word entrepreneur enough, or more than anybody I've probably met. Although I have met an adventurer, Jeff Wilson, who I also would class as an entrepreneur. And they've really taken life by the scruff of the neck, and they're doing extraordinary things. And so, yeah, I guess it's funny how someone like Steve Irwin and Steve Irwin Day can remind you that, you know, if you want to make something big, if you want to do something extraordinary, then you certainly have to tackle it, you know, head on, and without fear. And he was certainly a fearless man. It's unfortunate, if you don't know how he died. He actually died the day he died. I was sitting in an office with some co-workers, and we were just in total disbelief, you know. But the first thing came to mind was that he got eaten by a croc or something like that, and it was completely not the case at all. Eddie was a stingray. And for those of you around the world that are going, holy cow, you know, another thing that I have to be afraid of in Australia, the stingrays, well, I believe he was swimming quite closely to them, and if they strike, they normally would strike a leg or something like that, because most people are probably walking through a shallow in a creek bed or something like that, and or estuary. But yeah, no, Steve was swimming with them and probably picking them up. I'm not completely sure, but when the stingray actually struck him, it didn't strike him in the leg, it struck him in the heart, or very close to the heart, I believe. And the poison being that close to vital organs, just he couldn't take it, so it was just too much for the body to take. So yep, it's done. So we've just been joined by some more people.
Oh mate, I beat you this morning. No way. Yesterday's photo? No. Got one the sun was even shining through the clouds. You can see above it. Yeah, I only went down to the sign and back. Yep. When I was 4, bro, I stepped into the milling the glasses. And give you the little plastic containers with sauce in it. I must have fallen out of the car from the sun.
No, es que se puso peor.
Se se inundaba la casa.
Hola,
Si
tía.
lloviera.
Place on my pillow. Anytime I get up, she get up, she had the warm water, she go down there, and she go peel off on my pillows. She'll wait for me to get dressed. She knows I'm making her a cup of and she'll get up. See you later. I was going to go to this shop this stuff.
I don't go within that bottom anymore to shopping.
I'm talking for me. Yeah, right, because that's why you don't get the bacon and shit. With salt, heavy doses of salt. I was awake for it. I was awake up at 20 past 3. I just waited and I went up in my house and I was and my lunch sorted. I was in the bag already, so all I had to do was grab this fucking gate.
The sun is up already. When did the sun come past?
Well,
Is that the sun or is that actually
no, that's
the reflection?
Sun's already. Sun's behind that block there.
Already?
Yeah.
Did it shoot up till already?
Well,
No. Did you catch sunrise, buddy?
too cloudy, eh?
So you mean it wasn't even, so the sun's up already?
Yeah. I've got quite good news in my ears. It's up. It's behind that solid block. When I got up here, you just see the orange coming up over the horizon. Just trying to reread it first. You good, huh? Your sauce fucked you. But you can't, you're not getting enough on anyway, right?
At the end of the day, I knew it's better than you.
Oh, you from the car?
Interpretation of words. Back to the I got a heap over green, gum, and I put it over there. For the bad karma.
So it's quieting down here now. Most people have come up and left that I came up with. Well, I was the third person up here. Unfortunately, wasn't the first. So I don't have access to my itinerary for today, but I think today's going to be a really empowering day for entrepreneurs of small business owners. I believe we have women in business events pretty much running for most of today, and that doesn't mean that men aren't invited. So if you are keen to catch one of those events, or all of the events for today, then suggest you head to Startup Week Sunshine Coast, or just Google that, Sunshine Coast Startup Week, and check out the events for today. And it goes till Friday. So Friday there'll be a big party apparently, and I think we shared that information last night at the Bitcoin welcome, the Bitcoin meetup welcome. I can't help it. I'm gonna have to pan around and show you what's happening on the seaside. So down there we have looking towards Mooloolaba. That's the easternmost point there, right out in the ocean. And then beyond that it goes down towards Caloundra, and there's a lot of green here, isn't there? Which is great. You know, it's a healthy place to live, no doubt. And it's highly connected to the rest of the world. The Sunshine Coast has some fantastic internet, and I mean, it's not all about internet, but it does enable you to remote work or start a global business from right here in this beautiful coastal city, a beach city, dare I say. I pan around to the other side. Some beautiful clouds happening to the north, and I'm going to head down to Coolum after this, which I believe I'm looking at right now, but perfectly honest, I'm not 100% sure. And I'll head down there and have some brekkie and yeah, maybe talk to some more locals.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, dear. I don't know.
So when I was talking before about not waiting till you're fit before you start exercise, I'm actually talking about my own experience. So about 8 or so years ago, I'd blown out to nearly 100 kilos and only realised it when I had to go and take some photos of myself for some headshots and just couldn't believe who this fat person was in in the photograph. And that was, I was 30 years old, and be honest, work had taken over. So Me Media is an agency that I run, and marketing agency, and it was a highly stressful time. I think it was, that would have been close to GFC, and or maybe post GFC, and yeah, it was a really, really stressful time, and so I'd often drink a bottle of red, with my wife at night, nearly every night of the week, and to try and bring the stress levels down, and it just got worse and worse, to be honest. And I got fatter and fatter, of course. And then I wasn't exercising anywhere near as much. We had 2 young kids at the time, and so it felt like between work and life there was no balance. And so started up my martial arts again, and it had been a while since I did that, and I absolutely love what I do in martial art arena, Japanese jiu-jitsu. And anyway, I spoke to my sensei, and after about a year of training, I'd sort of made some progress with my fitness and my fatness. Started to drop away, And then my sensei said to me, look, have you heard of these DVDs, Forks Over Knives and Food Matters? And I said, no, I haven't. And he said, oh, you seem to be quite interested in improving yourself and whatnot. Maybe you want to watch them. Anyway, I took them home, and a few weeks went by, and I went, oh, look, I actually found the opportunity to watch them, and it was just previous to Christmas 4 years ago. So that I watched those DVDs, and I sat down, and after the second one, I just turned to my wife and said, "That's it. I'm going vegan." And she just looked at me and thought I was bloody crazy, and said, "Yeah, rightio." And I said, "No, that's it. I'm done. I'm going vegan." And for me, that was probably a pretty big deal for anyone to hear in my family, because I'm a cattle farmer's son and a dairy farmer's grandson. So yeah, my father had passed away a few years earlier, and so needless to say, he would have been probably turning in his grave to hear that. And anyway, I'm not telling you this story because I think everybody needs to go vegan, but long story short, I quit coffee straight away. There was no drama. I quit the alcohol straight away, and but quitting meat and dairy and eggs was a lot harder. I actually woke up the next morning and didn't know what the hell I was going to eat. So I had to educate myself, and that was interesting. You know, I went through lots of barriers or hurdles or challenges when I was trying to improve my diet to be a more plant-based diet, and it took probably a year or more before I really completely gave up meat. And one of those challenges was mainly that I didn't know what to eat, where to get my nutrients from, and when I stopped eating meat, so 3 months later, I'd not drunk any coffee, not drunk any alcohol, and really cut back the meat consumption, and definitely dairy was gone, and I'd actually lost 15 kilos in 3 months, and I just couldn't believe it. It was, and that was without increasing the amount of exercise I did and whatnot. But yeah, it was fantastic result in terms of weight loss. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I got back into the martial arts as an unfit person, to improve my fitness, and I improved my diet, and that was the biggest change I made, and that I got the biggest results from. And one thing I've heard recently about that is that you basically can't out-train a bad diet. So, like I said, I'm not saying that everybody needs to go plant-based or even vegan, you know, but I'm just sharing my story and how it's helped me. A lot of people still ask me, you know, that story, how that happened, and so yeah, I thought that might be of some interest to you. It broke through another barrier. I built some resilience around my lack of nutrition knowledge and abstinence from eating crap food. That was the clincher. And also drinking. I barely even drink anymore. I'm not saying I'm a non-drinker. I do enjoy a glass or two or whatnot when I catch up with some of my friends, but I think I've learnt in business and co-founder Lee, he echoes this and shares this sentiment that if you want to be a high-performing business owner, that you just can't be, I guess, putting your body through extra stress like consuming alcohol, especially during the week, because you gotta wake up the next day and smash it. And that's just my choice. And then there was something else I heard yesterday. A Mooloolaba local says it's all about choices. We all have choices. And it sounds very simple and cliche, but it was just another beautiful thing that happened yesterday. And I stopped that lady and I just said, "Hey, I heard you say that as I was walking by, and what did you mean? Like, why were you? In what context did that come up?" And she said, "Oh, it was just about, what that gentleman was doing over there. He was working on a playground, and he was living in this, this beautiful beach city, and he chose to come here, and he was just grateful. He just couldn't believe that he was working in such a beautiful environment, and that there were so many nice people around." And she was just reminding him that you chose it. We all have choices, and he was agreeing, of course. I think that's sunrise done, guys. I think you've heard me waffle on enough, and I think I'll start making the trek back down. See if these legs will carry me down. I'm just watching a guy come back up. How many times have you been up and down?
Oh no, it's only my second time.
Only your second, yeah.
I get 3 on a Wednesday.
3 on a Wednesday. Beautiful.
But I was in Nepal climbing last year this time. Well, I just got back.
Yeah.
And I fly out again on the 6th to go again.
Yeah, rightio.
But I'm training for the year after actually. And I do a big one back in Nepal.
Sensational.
Kids is big.
Sorry?
Kids is big, they run the workshop. I still work full time, but
Yeah.
my trips to Nepal is pretty cheap. Last year when I befriended my guide, since then I've put his son through boarding school, or paying for boarding school. So I can go over and I get it real cheap.
And do you run your own business? Is that what? Yeah.
I fix motorbikes.
You fix motorbikes. Do you want to have a quick chat? On camera or no?
Oh.
Come around here. Come around this side. I'll just fix this up. I knew I was going to meet someone up here.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm Chris Hogan.
Chris Hogan,
Yeah.
Ricky Buckley.
Ricky Buckley.
Just Ricky.
Yeah.
Or Rick from Rick's Motorcycle Services.
Okay, cool.
You'll catch it on the back.
Oh, there it is. There we go. Yep.
Got it.
Yep. Beautiful. Sunshine Coast. Whereabouts?
I'm in Calicote in here in Maroochydore by the Department of Transport.
Okay.
That's where I got a shop. My middle boy, he qualified by me last year, September. But actually in April I was sitting watching the news, having dinner, and the Nepalese earthquake came up. But 3 years ago, 4 years ago,
yeah.
big. And I turned to the wife and I said, I want to go there. And normally I don't want to go anywhere. I'm just happy in the Glasshouse Mountains up and down there, you know. And here we live on a beautiful coast. And come October, kids bought me thermals and walking sticks.
Yeah.
I'm like, where am I going? Oh, Mom said, you want to go to Nepal? I'm like, really? Okay. Booked my ticket. I knew there was a calling, I just didn't know what it was. And yeah, when I got to Nepal and I befriended, me and my guide went for 2 weeks to Everest Base Camp. He said, oh brother, I want to get good education for Sangye. And I said, yeah, no worry mate, I'll sort it out when we get back. And he got back to Kathmandu, opened him a bank account, and took a 6-hour journey bus trip into his village. Oh my man, like you see on the movies when there's like a river down there you can't see, and the bus driver's grinding through the gears. The worst part was they only had one CD in the bus, and man, I wish I had like the ultimate noise cancelling.
Yeah.
And anyway, he went to his village. His wife made us some chicken curry, sat on the floor. She dished up for us.
Yeah.
I made a little movie telling her I'm going to put little Sangye through boarding school, you know, because I was an orphan once. I lost my mom when I was 10, and we were in the ghettos. I was brought up in the apartheid era in South Africa.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were thrown in the outbacks and by the white man. Anyway, let's move on. So yeah, I have a pretty hard upbringing, and yeah, I knew there was something I had to do. And my boys is, like I said, my elder son's a qualified car mechanic, and the middle one, when he did finish his apprentice last year September, I got him to run the workshop, and I went to Nepal and came back. Wasn't impressed though, because Everest Base Camp just looks like like an explosion happened. There was nothing.
Yeah, right.
Just like a demolition yard.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed though. I came back and then it struck me when people said, wow, look what you've done. I got all these messages from all friends. They were really like, I'm like, oh, maybe it must have been good. And then next minute, I'm going back. I said I'm taking 8 of us. In no time, I had 8, including my baby son who just started his apprenticeship now there by us, being taught by his brother. So, yeah, 6th of March, fly out, take 7 people with me, including that guy that was here now. And he was a heavy party smoker. He's off it. He's trying to clear his lungs. He's not smoking anymore because they all look at you and it's like, if you can do it, old man, we can do it. But they're actually getting a bonus this time because I'll take them to Everest Base Camp, and then we go for another week. We climb Island Peak. So Base Camp's only like 5,200 meters, and then we go for another to climb Island Peak, which is 6,100. That's actually where the Everest climbers train on, because I just want to go higher, because 2019 I want to go back and I want to do 7,500 meters.
Okay.
Baranse Peak Expedition, 35 days, 1,300 below Everest.
So you've caught a bug by the sounds of it.
Caught a bug, yeah. It's just a beautiful place. Pretty, okay, you got to change your diet for 2-3 weeks, because from Lukla, which is the number 1 notorious airport in the world, where you land in, the Tenzing Hillary Airport. If you go too slow, you're in the mountain. If you go too fast, you're in the mountain. So, anyway, from Lukla onwards towards like Everest Base Camp and Everest, they're not allowed to slaughter. The government doesn't allow killing of animals, sacred grounds, and so you end up becoming partially, or you become vegetarian, which their food is really yummy. But
I'm vegan, so.
Oh, you're vegan.
Plant-based, so I'll be loving it. I'll be loving it. No, I'm absolutely loving it.
No, sorry, buddy. I feel I got a big heart for animals. My apologies to them. I try and turn a blind eye, but I have to have my meat.
You're South African after all. I think I just heard you talking about your biltong over there before.
Oh yes, yeah, we're taking some bolt. Yeah, definitely. We'll be a couple of kg of sealed vacuums. Hopefully they don't sniff us out, you know. And then we become a case on TV.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. But yeah, we'll take some biltong with and. Because early this year I did Kosciuszko, 14 peaks in 2 days. Biltong came in handy there, cooked it up with dehydrated food, which is quite yum that you get at the, really, if you ever tried those camping food that you add water by Anaconda, Kathmandu, Mountain Design. Oh, they're really delicious, and I'm fussy because South African, you get spoiled by your mother and your wife. Get a good wife, you hang on to her, okay? I hope she don't watch this.
Your wife? Or?
My wife.
Yeah.
No, she's a very good cook after 30 years. She's, and Kosciuszko I did early this year. Then I did the Overlander in Tasmania. It's a must for everybody. Take your kids with. They got camping huts all along the way. Just your gas stove, your sleeping bag, but really beautiful place, Tassie. I did Mount Ossa and Cradle Mountain there. And then I missed out earlier this year. There was a last year I did it. This year I missed out. I got I had calf problems, which is all gone now. Nobody knows what it was. Just cramps, old age. But I missed out my 10 mountain challenge this year. 10 guys, 10 mountains, 10 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, all of them in glasshouse.
Oh.
But I did the Spartans and I did the Tough Mudder.
Yeah, I did Tough Mudder earlier this year. Yeah.
I would have had my Tough Mudder t-shirt on, the orange one. Yeah, I had it on this morning. I'm like, nah, I need to quick dry. So I took the Tough Mudder one off. But I got early birds for next year again.
Yeah.
It was $92.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if I'll do it again, to be honest.
Well, enjoyed me in the Spartans.
Yeah, I feel like I need to mix it up. I'm not a distance person. I'm more of a sprinter. and
Hockers.
I've got yeah, actually.
Have you got Hockers?
No, I've got Solomons.
I'm not impressed with him, eh? I use him for climbing.
Well, one interesting thing that I found is that you get wet, obviously, very early in that race, and I've got the big boots, and so I was carrying around, probably an extra 500 grams, probably just in water weight per foot.
Not breathable?
Yeah. But you're going through massive puddles there, so
okay.
you're carrying that extra weight, and that didn't help me at all, and I also wasn't super fit at the time. This was just in the Sunshine Coast hinterland. Here, I think Karoi.
Yes.
Yeah, just this year, I did my first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
So where did you train?
I was just trained at home, mate.
Is it?
Yeah. I've got a long street. Well, it's a kilometre long, so I just started, walking, and then I started running, and then built up my resistance. But yeah, I didn't do 12-kilometre runs or anything like they advise. It's a 20-kilometre course. So it smashed me, mate.
Yeah, we did a 21k earlier this year in the Spartans. No, sorry, the Tough Mudder was 21k. And last year I did the Spartans was the Ultra Beast, 42k.
Oh, wow.
The problem was I pulled up halftime. I did one circuit and I sat down and I had a chat and out by the window. And the wife was with, so she wasn't going to sit there for another 3-4 hours. But just on Saturday, I just thought, bugger. Got up from the workbench, went to the laptop, computer, booked the Ultra Beast again. So I want to get I won't say I want to get the medal. I give the medals away. I just come on with a t-shirt, but I want to finish the Ultra Beast 28th of April next year. And then I think May is the the Tough Mudders in May, and March I go 3 weeks to Nepal. Yeah.
So just to wrap it up, I want to ask you two questions. So why is what's so good about the Sunshine Coast? Living here. So I need to get my questions right. Why is living on the Sunshine Coast awesome? What's so good about living on the Sunshine Coast?
Why I'm here?
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
No, just live the living, the lifestyle, lifestyle component.
What do I like about Sunshine Coast? We've been here 11 years and family.
Okay.
I can sum it up as family. You really confined to your family, your wife and your kids and your dog, and you grow closer. I needed that because I was always not wild one, but we were grown up. We were always partying. Kids were one room and the family in the other room, and we were always partying. So for me, it was really getting close to my kids, which was a blessing.
And how has Sunshine Coast helped you get closer to your kids? Or what's so unique about it that it's helped you do that?
It's a retirement village.
Oh, okay.
It's just a subtle life. I'm really enjoying it. I won't move anywhere else. I just love it. I'm not the ocean person, but it's just healthy. It's a real healthy environment. Everybody's pushing each other. People is friendly. You don't know your neighbors really because you always work. Yeah, well, for me, I'm always working, and Sundays I'm in the bush, either mountain biking or climbing, or mornings early. They could change the timing though. We could do that extra hour in the evening. Daylight saving. It's a pity.
Yeah.
But I won't move anywhere else. It's safe. It's a really safe. You get a real safe feeling. I still lock doors and that, but you can allow it. You can let your guard down. You feel it out. You feel, you just can't go wrong on the Sunshine Coast.
Okay. And so what makes working from the Sunshine Coast special for you? So why is it a great place to work, or run your own business? What makes it great?
Starting your own business on the Sunshine Coast is hard. I had to go to the mines underground on 2 occasions to make ends meet. Only because I don't charge enough, or I don't charge, or do jobs for free. We're still from the barter stages. But I'm fortunate in my trade now, 30 years working as a motorcycle mechanic. My sons came on board. That was a really blessing, miracle, seeing that they were never mechanics. If you can start your own business or get a job on the coast, you're really lucky because it's a good lifestyle, but it's an expensive lifestyle as well. Things is not cheap on the coast. Yet people still spend, and life goes on. Immaterial. I mean, it is just running a business, owning a business, working on the coast, living on the coast. I mean, if you look at it, it's just a friendly, non-violent place. It's just a good place to bring your kids up if you can afford it, or just live here. It's highly, and it's growing. More and more people is definitely coming to the profession. The building industry is really growing. My wife's a cardio nurse at Kawana, and she came here. She wasn't a nurse, and she just decided to become a nurse. And 10 years later, she's now sometimes running the joint there sort of thing.
Well, thanks very much, Ricky. I'll try and say Ricky, roll it.
Hey, thanks to Core Strength Fitness for putting me where I am today. Number 1 gym on the coast.
Oh, good one. Sure. So we're at Beach City. You're actually live on Facebook.
No way.
Yep.
Oh God, switch it off. Get out of here.
And mate, you can jump on and check out yourself talking. And share it with your family. Tell them what you're up to. So you're going to do one more round. You're going to go down and up again, yeah?
Yeah, well...
I made him sit down.
You broke my fast. I'm going to share my banana with him. He's bad. Whoever sees this, don't come up, man. Coolum. He talks too much.
Cool. Yeah, you're doing all the talking.
If I don't see you, I didn't come back.
Okay.
See you, brother.
See you, mate.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.